So here we are watching the NASCAR race for the ARCA series. And we have Cletus McFarland in cab, or I should say in the cockpit. And he's moved from 27th starting to 11th.
Cletus McFarland, known for his exciting YouTube videos and amazing stunts at his Freedom Factory track, has done something truly remarkable and unexpected. We're talking about events that pack thousands of fans into stands and potential deals that could bring a major manufacturer back to NASCAR for the first time in over a decade. Let's start with what happened at Stafford Speedway in 2025. The New England 900 wasn't your typical racing event. Instead of expensive modified cars or late models, Cletus organized a race featuring Crown Victoria police cars. But here's where it gets interesting. These weren't just regular Crown Vics. We're talking about cars with nitrous systems, train horns, and all sorts of crazy modifications that would make any gearhead smile. The result? Thousands of fans showed up, not the usual short track crowd either. These were younger fans, YouTube followers, people who normally wouldn't step foot at a racing event. The energy in those stands was electric. It felt less like a traditional race and more like a massive party where everyone was having the time of their lives. Now, you might be wondering why this matters so much. Here's the thing about modern short-track racing. It's broken. Seriously broken. Let me break down the numbers for you. A driver competing in a regular modified tour race spends between $7,000 and $8,000 just to show up. That's before they even turn a lap. If they finish 6th or 7th place, they might take home $3,500. Do the math. That's a loss of over $4,000 in a single night, even if they run well. Over an entire season, drivers are hemorrhaging tens of thousands of dollars. A tire bill alone can cost hundreds or thousands. Blow a motor? You're looking at several weeks away from racing while you rebuild. Everything becomes about covering costs instead of actually enjoying racing. The pressure is so intense that winning isn't just a goal anymore, it's a financial necessity. But the New England 900 flipped that script completely. The cars were cheap to build and maintain. Nobody had to worry about prize money covering their expenses. For the first time in years, drivers could just focus on having fun and racing hard without the constant stress of going broke. This brings us to something racing has lost over the years, the entertainment factor. Back in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, racing was full of personalities. Think about Dale Earnhardt. Sure, he was incredibly skilled, but what made him legendary was the character he played. He was the villain fans loved to hate. Same with guys like Rusty Wallace and Darrell Waltrip. These drivers understood they weren't just competitors, they were entertainers. Rivalries filled grandstands because fans had storylines to follow. They had someone to cheer for and someone to boo. It was wrestling on wheels, and it worked. Fast forward to today, and most of that is gone. Modern drivers are so focused on car setups, chassis adjustments, and budgets that they load up their cars after a race and disappear. There's no time for rivalries to develop. Fans don't feel connected to anyone, so they don't have a reason to come back week after week. The racing might be technically better, but without personalities and storylines, it's just competition instead of entertainment. Cletus proved something important with his Crown Vic race. When thousands of people show up to watch stock police cars with nitrous tanks banging doors and blowing train horns, it proves fans want entertainment just as much as pure competition. Here's where driver psychology comes into play. When racers are young, they only care about winning and proving their skill. But as they gain experience, many realize that fans remember the personalities and entertainment as much as the actual results. Some drivers embrace being the villain, others become the fan favorite. Both roles are crucial for keeping crowds engaged. Look at Denny Hamlin in the Cup Series. He knows many fans see him as a villain, and he plays into it perfectly. He creates drama and generates interest because he understands that without these characters, the sport feels flat. The problem is that while fans want personalities and rivalries, teams are just trying to survive financially. That's what makes events like the New England 900 so important. They show a different model where entertainment brings in fans, and fans create revenue. When stands are packed, tracks make money from tickets, food, and merchandise. That income can actually support drivers and create a sustainable system. According to multiple reports, discussions are happening that could bring Ram back to the NASCAR Truck Series, and Cletus McFarland might play a major role if this deal moves forward. Let me put this in perspective. Ram hasn't had full participation in NASCAR for over a decade. Since they left, Ford, Chevrolet, and Toyota have completely dominated the field. Bringing a fourth manufacturer back would increase competition and create new marketing opportunities that NASCAR officials would absolutely welcome. The Truck Series runs about 25 races each season from February through November. These events cover everything from short tracks under a mile to massive speedways over 2 miles, plus dirt tracks. Entering this series isn't small potatoes for a manufacturer. You have to build trucks that meet strict NASCAR rules, develop competitive engines, hire experienced crews, and sign drivers who can compete against established names. That's exactly why Cletus McFarland's involvement raises eyebrows. He's not a longtime NASCAR veteran with decades of experience, but what he brings is something equally valuable: millions of followers, incredible promotional power, and a proven ability to create excitement around motorsports. The big question is what his role would actually be. He could race in the trucks himself, serve as a part-time driver, work as a promotional figure, or become a brand partner helping Ram connect with younger fans. Given that he runs a massive YouTube channel, manages events, and has multiple ongoing projects, committing to all 25 races might be too much. The idea of Cletus racing full-time is ambitious but challenging. Even though 25 races sounds smaller compared to the 36 in the Cup Series, it's still a massive commitment. Each race weekend involves traveling, practice sessions, qualifying, and the actual race. He'd have to decide whether to put his media projects on hold for almost an entire year or stick with a lighter schedule. NASCAR has been working hard to expand its audience, and influencers like Cletus reach millions of younger fans who don't follow the sport closely. If Ram partners with him, it could be a strategy focused on building a new fan base rather than just winning races. Think about the content possibilities: behind-the-scenes videos, creative coverage around the trucks, and all the entertainment value Cletus brings could pull in people who otherwise would never tune into a NASCAR race. From a business perspective, this promotional value might be just as important as track performance. Meanwhile, Cletus is already making moves in NASCAR through the ARCA series. He raced his third ARCA event on May 23rd at Charlotte Motor Speedway, driving the number 30 Ford Mustang for Rhett Jones Racing. This was his first start on an intermediate track after racing at Daytona and Talladega earlier this year. His ARCA debut at Daytona didn't go well. He crashed early and finished 30th. But at Talladega, he bounced back from mechanical problems to finish 10th, which is actually pretty impressive for someone still learning stock car racing. These ARCA races have created what people are calling the Cletus McFarland Effect. His participation brings massive attention to ARCA and NASCAR, drawing new eyes to traditional racing series that desperately need fresh audiences. The ultimate goal is racing in the Daytona 500 in 2027. All this ARCA work is aimed at that target, with Cletus adding more races to his schedule and even considering some Xfinity Series opportunities. He's recently admitted that mastering stock car racing is much harder than he initially thought, which shows the respect he's developing for the sport.
Oh my gosh! Why don't you do burnouts like that?
Nobody ever thought a YouTuber could shake up NASCAR, but that's exactly what happened. Cletus McFarland showed up, turned heads, and left even Dale Earnhardt Jr. saying things may never be the same again. Garrett Mitchell, better known as Cletus McFarland, wasn't born into racing royalty. He didn't grow up with factory sponsorships or family teams. He started with a camera, a garage, and a knack for making car content that felt raw and fun. His YouTube channel grew from silly experiments into a motorsport empire. In 2015, everything changed. During a random video, his buddy called him Cletus as a joke. Fans latched onto it. Garrett leaned in, adopted the character, and built a brand around this personality who loved horsepower, burnouts, and freedom. Behind the humor was a sharp business mind and years of filming for 1320 video. By the time the Cletus name exploded, he was ready to turn it into something unstoppable. He didn't stop at videos. He built the Freedom Factory, an abandoned Florida speedway turned into a playground. He created wild builds like Leroy the Savage, a stripped-down Corvette that became legendary online. He organized events like the Freedom 500, burnout competitions, and drag shootouts, all streamed to millions eager to watch not just the cars, but but the chaos. By the time he dipped into professional racing, he wasn't just another rookie. He was bringing an army of fans with him, millions online, thousands traveling to watch, and more tuning in from home. When Cletus entered the ARCA Menard Series race at Daytona in 2025, expectations were low. He was an internet guy stepping into one of the most famous tracks in the world. The result on track was rough. He crashed out and finished 30th. But the real story was off the track. His in-car stream pulled in over 40,000 live viewers. Fox Sports coverage featuring him surged past 5.8 million views. That's over 10 times what a typical ARCA broadcast delivers. The Daily Downforce reported it was the most watched ARCA Daytona race since 2013. That's when NASCAR executives started sweating. Then came Talladega. Despite engine trouble, Cletus finished in the top 10, completing all 77 laps. His YouTube in-car stream peaked at 60,000 live viewers. Veteran driver Kenny Wallace admitted Cletus had undeniable value. NASCAR, whether they liked it or not, needed him. Mike Joy had been warning NASCAR. Their fan base was aging. Ratings showed older audiences tuning in, while younger fans checked out. Then McFarland came along and flipped the narrative. He was bringing teenagers, college kids, and 20-somethings who never watched a lap before. That's when Dale Jr. stepped in. He invited Cletus to his podcast, the Dale Jr. Download. They didn't just talk racing. They talked culture, YouTube, and how the sport needed to evolve. The episode became one of Dirty Mo Media's most popular. For Dale Jr., this wasn't just entertainment. It was a sign of where the sport had to go. But the real turning point came when Dale Jr. agreed to drive the Dale truck. The Dale truck isn't just some prop, it's a former NASCAR Craftsman truck, rebuilt as a drag monster, painted in tribute to Dale Earnhardt Sr.'s number 3. And when Dale Jr. got behind the wheel, he realized how serious this all was. He floored it, and within a split second, he panicked. The launch was so violent that his body slammed back, his foot came off the pedal, and he had to lift. Reviewing the data later, Cletus pointed out that Jr. dropped to 26%, throttle less than 1/10 of a second into the run. Dale Jr. described it as a jump scare, like walking through haunted woods when someone jumps out with a chainsaw. That's how hard the truck hit, but instead of quitting, he asked to go again. The second run was smoother, and when he climbed out, he couldn't stop grinning. The bigger realization hit him later. If a drag truck could deliver that kind of rush, what must it feel like in NHRA top fuel at 300 miles per hour? Suddenly, Tony Stewart's transition from NASCAR to NHRA made perfect sense. Here's the harsh truth. NASCAR has been struggling with declining ratings and an aging audience. The average fan is in their 50s, and younger viewers aren't connecting with traditional broadcasts. Sponsors want fresh eyes, teams want packed stands, networks want ratings. Enter Cletus. He's everything NASCAR isn't. Unscripted, relatable, authentic. He crashes, laughs at himself, talks directly to fans, and brings them along. He doesn't hide mistakes behind PR spin. That's why young people love him. He feels real. It's the same formula Jake Paul used to revive boxing among Gen Z. Love him or hate him, he brought millions of fans to a fading sport. Now Cletus is doing the same for racing. He's bringing in new fans who never cared about lap averages or pit stops. They care about connection and feeling part of the action. For Dale Jr., this is both exciting and unnerving. He's NASCAR's ambassador, its bridge to modern culture. But even he admits what McFarland is doing highlights NASCAR's weakness. The old model, big TV deals, scripted promos, is cracking. And McFarland just proved it with YouTube streams pulling bigger numbers than traditional coverage. That's why Dale Jr. looks uneasy. It's not panic about losing his place, it's panic about what it means for the sport. If NASCAR can't adapt, Cletus won't just be a fun side story. He'll be the blueprint. This isn't just about one guy in a truck, it's about the future of the sport. NASCAR's survival depends on connecting with a new generation, and right now, Cletus McFarland is doing that better than anyone. If other creators follow his lead, and they will, then NASCAR has to decide, partner with them, or get left behind. Some insiders are already whispering about collaborations, influencer partnerships, and in-car streams. Others are resistant, clinging to tradition, but the data doesn't lie. Cletus has proven he can draw bigger numbers, louder crowds, and younger fans than many official NASCAR campaigns. That's not just entertainment, that's disruption. The fan response has been explosive. Social media erupts every time Cletus races, whether he wins or crashes. At Talladega, chants of his name could be heard in the stands. On YouTube, comment sections flood with people saying it's their first NASCAR race, and they loved it. That's gold for the sport, but terrifying for executives who realize a YouTuber might be doing their job better than they are. Older fans sometimes push back, calling him a sideshow. But even many of them admit they're watching, because love him or hate him, Cletus makes things exciting, and excitement is what NASCAR needs. In the end, the Cletus McFarland effect is bigger than one driver. It's proof the future of racing won't just be decided by lap times and sponsor deals. It will be decided by who can connect with fans and make people care again. NASCAR is at a crossroads, and Dale Jr. knows it. He's not panicking about losing relevance, he's panicking about the sport's ability to keep up. McFarland just showed the world that the next generation of racing fans isn't going to sit quietly in front of a TV on Sunday afternoons. They want interaction, access, and energy. And if NASCAR doesn't give it to them, Cletus McFarland will. The countdown has already started. Dale Jr. has seen it up close. NASCAR has felt the shockwaves. Cletus McFarland is here and he isn't slowing down. The question is whether NASCAR will accelerate with him or get left in the dust. Because one thing is clear. When a YouTuber can make Dale Earnhardt Jr. question the future of the sport, you know racing is on the edge of a revolution.
Denny Hamlin on the pole position alongside Kyle Larson. Race 2 of the playoffs. Let's go!
Denny Hamlin just won his 5th race of 2025 at Worldwide Technology Raceway, but what he said after crossing the finish line has everyone talking. For the first time ever, the 44-year-old driver revealed exactly when he plans to hang up his helmet. And the clock is ticking faster than anyone thought. When reporters asked Hamlin how he stays so focused at his age, his answer caught everyone off guard.
I knew exactly how many races were left, and it's like, the countdown has begun.
This wasn't some vague comment about retiring someday. Hamlin was dead serious about having an exact number. He went on to explain that he'll turn 45 the week after this season ends, and that leaves him just 2 more seasons after 2025. Do the math, and you're looking at roughly 70 races left in one of NASCAR's most successful careers. Hamlin even talked about a recent conversation with Kevin Harvick, saying, "I knew exactly how many races were left." But here's the kicker. Hamlin isn't planning to fade away quietly. He made it crystal clear that pride won't let him stick around past his prime.
There's just got to be a means to an end. I'm just not going to leave this sport on my deathbed. Just leaking oil, just running in the back of the pack. I have way too much pride for that. I'm way too cocky for that. There's just no way. I want to be able to win my last race.
This timeline means Hamlin has exactly 2 more shots at the Daytona 500, 2 more chances to finally win his first Brickyard 400, and most importantly, a rapidly closing window to capture that elusive first championship. When asked if winning the title would make him consider walking away on top, Hamlin didn't hesitate.
Sure, absolutely. Sounds like a good way to end.
Sunday's victory at Gateway wasn't just another win. It marked Toyota's 200th NASCAR Cup Series victory. With Hamlin claiming 56 of those wins, that ties him with Kyle Busch for the most Toyota victories ever. At 59 career wins, he's also just 1 away from tying Kevin Harvick at 60 wins. Tyler Gibbs from Toyota Racing Development put the milestone in perspective, saying it represents 19 years of partnership success across teams like Joe Gibbs Racing, 2311, and others. For Hamlin, who switched from Chevrolet to Toyota early in his career, the relationship runs deep.
Relationship with them. And so, I've got Toyota running through my blood, both top and bottom.
He said, referencing both his driving career and his ownership of 2311 racing with Michael Jordan. While Hamlin was celebrating and making retirement announcements, Shane Van Gisbergen was fighting for his NASCAR playoff life, and honestly, it wasn't going well. The New Zealand driver started 18th at Gateway, just 0.4 of a second behind Hamlin's pole-winning time. That looked promising, but things went downhill fast. Van Gisbergen climbed to 17th on the opening lap. But his car developed serious handling problems that never got fixed.
Oh, we're wrecking. It's Shane Van Gisbergen and the WeatherTech Chevrolet.
Caution, get it rolling here if you can. Barely touch the left rear on the wall. Should be fine. Get it turned right here, all good.